Godzilla.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I think everybody, old fans and new, are excited to see Godzilla -1, or in any capacity for that matter. But the -1 trailer is one of the best things I have seen in a very long time. We're not just talking about because of the trailer. We're talking about the best thing in forms of media to get hyped over that I've seen in a very long time. I'm telling you, all the best stuff and the best entertainment that Western civilization has right now is coming from the freaking East. So with everybody hyping up around this trailer, everybody agrees that it's amazing. I stumbled upon people that had concerns. So on Reddit, this person was voicing these very concerns, claiming that they're aware that the director and writer of the film has very nationalistic perspectives, and that he certainly hopes that this won't put a damper on the movie by making it appear as though he's overly patriotic, or the movie is overly patriotic.
What the hell?
He's essentially worried that his real-life views might influence how they might depict Japan's role in World War II in the Godzilla movie. He mentioned one of the great things about the 1954 original Godzilla movie was that it symbolized the problems that related to all parties involved in World War II and the advancements in wartime technology. So he's simply worried that this film is going to come off as biased or possess an overly sympathetic view of Japan's actions during that time. Now, while I completely understand where he's coming from, here's where I might take issue with this, or where I'll say it's not really that big of a deal. You see, when you look up World War II movies, most of them are from the lens of Americans or for the American audience.
Fuck yeah!
You see this guy who wore the style of pubes on his upper lip? He's essentially the one that started all of this. You have to remember that from everybody's perspective in the war, they're all fighting for their country and believe that they are in the right. Do you think at that time Japan was looking at their actions and thinking to themselves, well, hot gosh darn it, we're the bad guys. We're aware that we are the villains. No, there was a very clear motivation for why they were doing what they were doing. So while I get the concerns that this person has for the Godzilla -1 movie, I don't know whether this person is American or not, but it's a little bit silly to sit there and agonize over it, and everyone should be well aware that filmmakers often bring their personal perspectives and biases to their work. In American war movies, the Americans are going to portray themselves as the heroes. The same thing with Chinese movies. I mean, it's very understandable that patriotic biases are going to influence filmmakers and how they portray historical events or themes in their movies. It's not unique to any one country or director, it happens across the globe. So about this person's concerns about the nationalistic perspective in the Godzilla -1 film, remember that Americans are not entitled to have only their perspective be told, especially when you consider that Godzilla -1 is a Japanese movie and it's going to be released in Japan. So seriously, what are you expecting? It's important to note that artistic freedom allows directors and writers to explore various viewpoints and interpretations, and just like American filmmakers might present their country's history or actions in a particular way, why are we trying to police what other countries are doing? I could understand if they were releasing it first in the US for the US audience, then I could see how that would come across as tone deaf or insulting. Sure, we have the right to critique these things, but it's giving entitled USA savior complex when you seem worried or have consternation about a Japanese movie being directed by a Japanese director for a Japanese audience and then portraying the Japanese side of things in a positive light during a war. Like, how much American ass do you want them to kiss?
Yes!
While I get the other side of it where people might be afraid of there being a distortion of history, especially when a film presents a one-sided or overly sympathetic view of a nation's actions during a historical conflict, let's remember that this film is about a freaking Titanic reptile that spews nuclear pew-pew. And yes, you can talk about the reinforcement of stereotypes, which can in turn cause polarization and cause an impact on international relations. I don't think we have to worry about it being that deep, given that America has done a lot of that in their movies, even recent horror movies. And the best way to tell the story is from hearing everybody's side. We, as the American audience, have had so many opportunities to see the story being told from USA side. So I really don't think we have the right to then try to police another country's side and perspective to make sure it suits our interests or how we'd like to be portrayed. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think that even if Godzilla -1 or other kaiju Japanese movies, films, what have you, were to show a more sympathetic side from the point of view of Japan, that it would ruin the Godzilla movie for you? Or would you just escape for what would amount to a little bit over an hour or two, depending how long this movie is, to imagine yourself as the Japanese people living in a time where their country is ravaged by the war, only for there to be consequently this other big issue that is an even bigger problem, a supersized creature that is evidently even more dangerous and destructive than any freaking war weapon. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.